What up? What up? Fantasy Football Hustler back at you. And oh, yeah, we got some Dynasty League content. First off, I'm going to teach you guys how to create a Dynasty League on Sleeper. Let's just get down to biz. I'm on the desktop here, and you'll see just right on the left side, you got the leagues, you got the plus here. Super easy. Go into fantasy football. Let's call this FF Hustler. So you name it whatever you want, obviously. Throw the logo in there. Logo is optional. You don't even have to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do it, though. Boom. All right. And so for this, we're doing Dynasty. So that's where we're rolling. But you got redraft, you got keeper. And I'm always going with the snake draft. Except for the rookie drafts. Then those are going to be linear. Let's get into the settings here, right here at the top. Very similar, whether you're doing it on the phone or the computer. Real similar. So league settings, there we go, 12 teams. Rolling waiver type, reverse standings, or fab bidding. So for the Dynasty League that I'm doing fab bidding. And we're doing $200. Yeah, and we'll just leave it on Tuesday. Time players are on waivers, usually 2. There we go. So I'm going to do daily custom waivers. And so during the off season, any day, but I like to change the time on Sunday. I make it midnight Pacific time. Time to review the pending trades. I put 3 days because you can always do it quicker. And trade deadline for these Dynasty Leagues, I always put none. Okay, playoffs. Got to make them start week 15. We still got buys in week 14. So I do 12 teams in, 6 playoff teams make it. 1 week per round. Yep, I don't mess with the 2 week, And default or reseeding. I like to do it kind of like the NFL does, where it's the reseeding. And then toilet bowl. Yep, instead of the consolation bracket. And so injury reserve. I usually put it on whatever the max is, 10. So you'll see for the for the type of league that I'm doing. It's a crazy amount of starters, so you're obviously going to be able to do it however you want. Normally 2 to 4 spots if you just have like really small like rosters, but you want a lot of injury reserve spots. It's the way it is for Dynasty. You're playing this forever. You don't want to have to throw anybody back to free agency just because they got injured or they're on IR or whatever. So COVID there, out, yes, suspended players, we'll leave it on there. NA players, actually, so we got to turn them all on. All right, this is turning them on. I even like putting doubtful players on IR now, because once they hit doubtful, they're pretty much not playing. It's very rare now that someone gets a doubtful tag on Friday and then actually plays. Allow draft pick trading, yes, each game against the median. No, so that is where you have, I believe it's like 2 games per week that you end up playing. Like you get a win or a loss based on if you're above the average points scored per week. And let's see, prevent bench players from being dropped after the game starts. I don't care about that. I just leave that. Lock all free agents and waiver moves. Nope. So supplemental rounds. So for me, this is like the rookie draft. For the leagues that I do, we do 7 rounds, but it's because we do like full-blown IDP, and there's just a lot of players that are on each squad. And I do... Dang, that's a crazy amount of taxi squad guys. I do 7 taxi squad guys. We have 7 rounds. So I put it on 1 year. So guys who you draft this year, like rookies, you could leave them on the taxi squad until next year. Once you take them off, though, you can't put them back on. So that's the thing. But if there's a player that you want to let develop for like 2 years, you can leave them on there for that long. And taxi squad deadline, start of the regular season. Once the season starts, if you take a guy out, you can't put him back in. All right, that's everything for the league settings. The team settings, you can go set your avatar. You can go set your team name. Okay, now the roster spots. If you're just going to do default, even for redraft, default should be super flex. If you're doing 10 or 12 teams, it's just going to get real boring if you only have 1 QB. So you got to do at least 1 super flex here. Now, I like doing 1 QB, 2 running backs. I like doing 3 wide receivers for the dynasties. Okay, now mine, I do it a little bit different than most leagues. I don't actually put a tight end spot in there, but I put in 3 flex spots. So we have 10 total spots here. So we're not doing kickers, we're not doing team defense, but we are doing IDP. So we got 2 defensive linemen. We got 2 linebackers. We got 2 DBs. And then we got 3 IDP flex spots. So for a total of 9 IDP starters. So we have 19 total starters. This is just my league. These are the Hustler leagues. The amount of roster spots that I put. You don't have to put this many. Like if you're just barely getting started into IDP, maybe put like 5 or 6 IDP flexes, make it a little bit easier to where you're not confined to playing any specific position. I like doing it this way because 9 defenders, I mean, that's a good amount. It's going to be very easy for everyone to fill a solid roster, even with 12 teams. So don't be afraid about putting like 7, 8, 9 players in there for IDP and make it fun. Like 10 offensive spots, like that's a good amount. Definitely get it up there like that. Don't just have like 6 or 7 starters. Like, you know, we got to get away from the defaults. This is Dynasty. It's supposed to be extra fun and extra challenging. Now for my bench, I have 31 bench spots. Pretty much like 2.5 times the starters is what it is. Let's get into the scoring settings. Mine aren't really default. We got to make this fun. We do 1 point for every 15 yards. Got to be the 6 point on the passing TD. We make it to where you're going to get a lot of points, you know, for the yards, for the touchdowns, you get the 2-point conversions. But I really demote for the interceptions, -4. And then I do an extra -1 for the pick 6. So if you throw a pick 6, that's -5. That really hurts the QBs. Now, this is one I just like to put in for fun, but the passes complete and passes incomplete. If a QB is under 66%, completion percentage for the game, they're going to lose, you know, maybe a point or 2 or a couple points. It really just depends on how far under they are. And the more that they go over 66%, they're just going to get you some extra points. And then I always like having the 40-yard completion bonus, 40-yard TD bonus, you know, just a way to get an extra point or 2. Rushing, we're leaving it the same, 10 yards. TD, 6, of course. Rushing first down. That is something that we have on there. I do 0.25 for the rushing first down. And then I also do the same thing, 0.25 per rushing attempt. Because it's IDP, I'm always trying to get ways to get more points up on both sides of the ball. So with IDP, if you're going to do IDP 1, 2, 3 scoring, which I'm going to go over that really soon here, and you'll see what the scoring is like. The defensive players are going to score a lot. You got to have your offensive players scoring to balance it out. And we're going to do the same thing with that rushing bonus on the 40 yards, TD bonus, of course. And then same thing over here where we do the receiving first down. We also have an extra 0.5 per tight end reception. Tight ends are optional in these leagues, but if you do play them, you're going to get some extra points. I mean, the field goals and stuff, I'll leave that in there. We don't even have any field goals. We don't have team defense, so we're just scrolling past that. I would say, though, if you are going to have kickers, if you are going to have defense, I really don't like the 4, the 5, and all that. Like, kickers already score, like, way too much. And, like, if they miss an extra point, they should be getting like minus like 5 points or something, you know, like something ridiculous like that. Field goal missed, it shouldn't just be -1. It should be -3, like at least. It should be something, you know, that's all I'm going to say for kickers. I mean, really, it's the scoring that really gets me. And for the team defense, just make sure you upgrade these accordingly. Like the defensive score for a team defense shouldn't be 6. I mean, it should be like 10, you know, the points allowed. Bump that up. Like if someone gets a shutout, it should be way more than 10 points because it's so impossible to get a shutout. Like same thing with this. Like you shouldn't get 0 points if you give up 21 points in the NFL anymore. Like maybe you should only get 1 or 2, but really like once you get over 28 points, maybe that's where you get 0, 35 plus, you know, maybe that's where you get like some negative points as well. But that's really my beef with the team defenses. The scoring is just crap. Get that going accordingly, you know, 3rd and outs, put that in there, 4th down stops, hits on QB, sacks, interceptions, and all that stuff. Bump those numbers up if you're doing team defense, which I don't really recommend. All right, let's see. But here we go. Special teams. If we get a special teams TD, force fumble, special teams player. The miscellaneous fumble, fumble lost, fumble recovery, TD6. There we go. We got some bonuses in here. So 100 to 199. We're going to give an extra 2 points. And we're going to give 4 points for the 200 yards plus. So keep it simple. 2 and 4. And then for the 300-yard game, we're going to go 3. And then for the 400-yard game, we're going to go 4. And the combined receiving, we're just going to do the same thing, the 2 and 4. And then we're not going to mess with the passes or the carries. Okay, here's where we go. Get down to the IDP 1, 2, 3. It's pretty cool because most of this is already in there. Sleeper's already adopted the IDP 1, 2, 3 scoring. IDP TD 6. A sack is 6. Hit on the QB is 1. We don't have the tackle listed because we have the solo tackle and the assisted tackle. Okay, so you don't have to have the tackle on there also, or you're going to get doubled up on points. Tackle for loss 2. Blocked punt PAT field goal is 3. Interception is also 6. We're doing interception 1 point for every 10 yards. I mean, this is something, maybe an extra point here or there usually doesn't make that much of a difference. It's just you guy gets a big interception, maybe he gets like 40 yards on the return for a touchdown. It's just like an extra 4 points, that he gets for getting those yardage. Forced fumble 3, safety 3, assisted tackle is 1, solo tackle is 2, pass defended is 3. These are some bonuses that they just added in, I believe, this year. 10 plus tackle bonus, 2 sack bonus, 3 plus pass defended bonus, 50-yard interception TD bonus. That's pretty cool. So everything there is good to go on the scoring. You can play around with this however you want. This is just the scoring that I laid out to make it a very balanced and high scoring league. Now, setting the draft date. We already talked about this in this league where the draft date is going to be February 15th. There we go. Coming up real soon. The time almost doesn't matter, folks. So, because you can always start it earlier or later. So, we'll just set it to 420 because that sounds cool. All right. And then we're doing a snake draft. And then, so for my Dynasty leagues, I make it 8 hours per pick. Especially if we're drafting this early, people are going to want to do trades, like crazy. And then you set your draft order. So normally, normally there'd be like 12 people in here. I use 100-yard rush to determine the draft order. It's a simulated 100-yard dash. It's pretty cool. 100yardrush.com. All right, all players available. So for me, we're doing 2 drafts. We're drafting so early that we're doing a veterans draft first, and then we're doing a rookie draft second. And we are also doing a 3rd round reversal just to add another layer of difficulty. So with the 3rd round reversal, for those who don't know, so in a normal snake draft, if you have the first pick in the first round, you have the last pick in the second round, and then you have the first pick in the 3rd round. But now imagine the 3rd round just completely gets flipped on the other side. If you're the first pick in the draft, you have the last pick in the 2nd round, and then you have the last pick in the 3rd round. So if you have the 12th overall pick, you get the 12th pick, you get the 13th pick, which is the first pick in the 2nd round, and then you get the first pick in the 3rd round as well. And it really just eliminates like the number 1 team just being super stacked, like right off the bat, having 3 picks within the top 25 picks. Oh yeah. Divisional settings. I'm not doing any divisions. The manager settings. There's nothing even really to mess with on there. Co-owners. That's if you're going to add someone. Commissioner control. If you're going to give someone else commissioner control, this is where you do it. That's pretty much it. All right. We made it all the way through. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you guys want to get into some Hustler leagues, just go get signed up on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/FFHustler420 or go to fantasyfootballhustler.com, and then you can get to all the links to find me everywhere. I got my podcast. If you go to fantasyfootballhustler.com, you can go get the link to Apple, go get it to Spotify, or just search Fantasy Football Hustler wherever you get your podcast. I appreciate you guys. We got a lot of Dynasty content coming. I got other guys who are going to be coming on, bringing content as well. We got a bunch of mock drafts. The first one is going to be this Friday, and I'm going to be doing it every single Friday. We're just going to be doing mock draft Friday, having some fun, talking some fantasy. Oh, yeah. So I appreciate you guys. Make sure you tap in every weekday for our live show, Fantasy News Today, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. Depending on when you're watching this, we may be in the off-season schedule where it's a Wednesday, Friday only show, and we got live streams all throughout the week. We are helping you with your DFS lineup, so if you're not on Super Draft Pro, go get there. Just go to the link, sdhustler.com. You can get signed up for an exclusive membership when you're only going against hundreds of people per day. You want to go get involved on that. You want to go get involved with that right now. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Let's get these Dynasty Leagues going. Go get on Patreon so you can get into a Hustler League because we got multiple that are starting really soon. Or depending on when you're watching this, we got a couple more that are going to be starting. If you listen to this in podcast form, I really appreciate you. Make sure you go to YouTube so you can get the visuals. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace.
Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother. Show me the money.
Oh, you didn't know?
Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling.
You put my shoes on, you wouldn't last a mile.
Summertime, wintertime, I'm on the grind. Yeah, I got the ring, I'm the champ, I'm the genie of the lamp.
This is the gift I was given, so I just live by my hustle.
My pocket, it don't make sense, but don't make a profit. So I hustle, ladies and homies. Make money, money.
Call out here for a pill. When he tryna get this money for the real.
I want to find a thing to save my life, so I hustle.
It ain't over for me, no, it ain't over for me.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Show me the money!
Okay, let's go smoke that joint.